edition of Career Gist. I'm your girl, Chinelo Untaku. And on today's edition, we will be talking about the career path for lawyers in Germany. Our guest today is Barrister Efosa Ogieriakhi. He is a German, Berlin-based legal practitioner. He attended the Edo College in Benin City. He worked with Guinness in Benin City, attended University of La Verna, California, attends campus for 3 semesters. He did language school with Goethe Institute Athens and DAG in Goethe Institute Bremen. Went to the University of Bremen, the Faculty of Law, did the legal practical training with the High Court of Appeal in Hamm, stationed in Court of Appeal Dortmund, Germany, worked in the private chambers in Bremen and owned his own chambers since 2004 in Bremen and then moved to Berlin 2012. He has also held various reputable diasporan positions, which he will inform us as he tells us more about himself, and he's also running as a current governorship aspirant in Edo State. Please, Barrister Efosa, you're welcome to Career Gist on this edition. You have the floor. Please tell us more about yourself. We want to know more about you, and before we go into the business of today, you have the floor, sir.
So thank you, sir. It's a pleasure being here today, and I'm, as you rightly said, I'm a lawyer here in Germany. My office is in Berlin, and so it's a pleasure being here.
Thank you so much. So we're going straight into the topic of today, which is the career path for lawyers in Germany. If you have questions, do not forget to write them down in the comment sections. We will take every question that comes up, depending on whatever it is that you want to know about being a lawyer, being a legal practitioner in Germany, because a lot of us have people who migrated also to Germany and are lawyers and are trying to fit in. So you can let them know and then drop their questions as we go on. And our guest here, Barrister Ogieriakhi, is going to answer every question that you put out here. So please let us know more about the career path for lawyers here in Germany. Thank you. So can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Please, you have the floor. Let's go deep into the issue of today.
I thought the question was directed to the others, Actually, here in Germany, we have what we call the Zweiphasige Ausbildung, meaning it's split into 2 phases. So one is the university study, so after then one takes what we call here the Erste Staatsexamen, which is the first state examination. Then after that one is requested to do what we call the Rechtsreferendariat, which means it's a kind of legal practical training, which like in many African countries, what they call the law school. But here in Germany, we call it practical training. It's actually not, although part of schooling is part of it as well, but it's majorly a practical preparation for the profession. So that takes between 2.5 years, in some cases, perhaps a few months longer. Then after that, one is now entitled to do the final exam, which is the Zweite Staatsexamen, which is the final professional exam. And before one will have what we call the Befähigung zum Richteramt, which is one is qualified either to be a judge or to want to be in the private sector or any area. So one is qualified to be a lawyer. Thank you.
So there are lawyers here. I have some questions that some participants have sent in, and Abayomi is asking, what advice do you have for a Nigerian lawyer in Germany? So he says, I am going to finish my master's in data protection and IP law in September 2023. I have a B1 German and 1 year working experience in data protection in a German law firm and in a tech company in Berlin, but still find it difficult getting a full-time job, as most companies are either looking for a jurist or 2 state exams. And he has been thinking about improving his German language and going back to get admission to study law in Germany. at least to be a jurist. So what is your advice to him?
Okay, if he wants to follow the legal line of operation, legal profession, in Germany, like him as a Nigerian lawyer, basically there's a regulation in I think paragraph 206 in the Bundesrechtsanwaltsordnung. If I would translate that to English, there's another court is a kind of law guiding lawyers in Germany. 206 of that stipulates clearly that even lawyers from outside the country, beside the European countries, that they can apply for the Zulassung, which is the permission to operate as the lawyer they already are in their home country. For example, let's take Nigeria, for example, someone that is already called to bar in Nigeria and is a member of the Bar Association in Nigeria. So he will be allowed to operate, to get a license to operate within the remit of the things he's doing in Nigeria. So he call himself like a barrister here, open, and he can operate on that. And some of the guys I know in the past that I directed to that direction, they were operating on what we call good acting. Also, good acting, that is, they're responsible for Nigerian offense. In some cases, the courts here, they need that because they're not so informed about the Nigerian law. So there are areas in Nigerian law that has to be researched, and so such jobs are given to such people. But to operate as a lawyer, going to court like what I do here, then you have to go through the German legal professional training.
Okay, and that professional training, what does it entail?
As he rightly said, to be a jurist, which means he has completed the university law study, that is the US study in the university, and get that first degree from the university. So without doing the practical training, you're already a jurist. So on that ground, some chambers, they employ people companies too. They employ people with that because it's already a university degree. So the further practical training is actually directed to two directions: either to be a lawyer at the end, or perhaps to be a judge. So once that one is done and completed, and you pass the final exam, as I rightly said, one will get what we call the Befähigung zum Richteramt.
Another question from another participant. So I have a law degree from South Africa, and I intend to do my LLM this year if I get admitted. Can I work in the legal profession without doing the 2 STAT exams? And if so, how and which field is easier for one to integrate in?
Okay. We have to classify there's what the European lawyers and the non-European lawyers. So in this case, like the former example I give, the Nigerian lawyer, for example, the South African lawyer falls within that example as well. Then if you want to work as a lawyer in Germany, so you have to go through this German legal training. That is the university, you study law in university, then you do the practical training, that is the Rechtsreferendariat. Then after that, you want to pass the final exam, then one will be called to bar, or perhaps one could be a judge as well. It's directly if the final result is very, very attractive. So in this case of the South African lawyer, it still will fall within that section 206 of the Bundesrechtsanwaltsordnung. There it gives the leverage to operate, to get the license, as long as he's already operating in South Africa as a lawyer, so he can operate within that remit of a South African law, which is already hard, but he will have to get a certification from the South Africa Bar Association that he is a member, that he or she is a member there already. So, and attached it to the application to the Rechtsstaatkammer of the town the person is living. If he's living in Berlin or perhaps in Hamburg, every major towns we have the Rechtsstaatkammer. So that is the institution, legal institution that is responsible for the coalition and the processing of such applications.
So Wilson is asking how to establish a career in competition and regulation law in Germany.
Competitive law, we understand, is part of the business law. All legal pattern depends on which area that one wants to work. If, as I rightly said, if one wants to be a lawyer, a German lawyer, so there's a procedure to become a German lawyer, So, and in the process of that, you can choose area of of specialization later, So if that person in the process chooses competitive law, which is the business law, and he decides to remain on that profession later, so he can be a specialist on that particular legal field, legal area, So in some cases, there are companies or even chambers too that employ people with such knowledge, but not as a lawyer. Perhaps if they have a whole lot to do in that area, in that competitive law area, especially when it becomes an international legal firm, such people too can be employed.
So my own question to you is, what areas of law do you specialize in?
Okay. To be very precise, in my university days, my final university days, I really went far into business law, that is the company law, corporate and competitive law. And even after my Recht referendariat area, I did as well. I really went into that. I'm a three-way trade company lawyer. But at the time I finished, I worked in a private chamber in Berlin, and I realized the majority of my clients, especially the Africans, they really don't have companies here in Germany. So then I had to, put myself in other area and learn, research, keep researching and doing many things that will uplift my knowledge. So currently I handle labor law, I handle immigration law, and I handle family law matters as well.
So a question from Maureen. Maureen is asking, what are my options as a common law trained lawyer who migrated to Germany? What are her options? What options does she have in Germany?
So they are still falling within the examples I gave before. First, we need there's a European lawyer with the European Union and Switzerland. There's a special law that is governing such European lawyer, and the areas they are allowed to do in Germany. In that law, Part 5 of it is listed in Part 5 of that law. The areas they allow, if they want to settle here in Germany and practice those things, there are those areas that are listed in that Part 5 of that law governing the European lawyers, are those areas they are allowed to practice on. But in a non-European, as a common, if you say common law lawyer, in the first place, lawyers from the UK, although they're no longer part of the European Union, I'm very sure there's a common regulations on how to operate with UK. But common law lawyers from areas like maybe Ghana, Nigeria, and all that, so they still fall within that section 206, of the Bundesrechtsanwaltsordnung, which is the law governing the lawyers within Germany.
Is this law for all lawyers in Germany or all migrant lawyers that come into Germany?
Yes, you need to differentiate if it's a European lawyer from the European Union and Switzerland, because Switzerland are usually treated like part of the European Union in some of these regulations. So in that case, the jobs or areas of law that are listed under Part 5 of that law governing the European lawyer that they can operate on. Then if they are not a European lawyer, if they want to operate in areas of their hometown, their home country, because they are allowed to operate the areas that they are already operating in their home country, and it's under that under section 206 of the Bundesrechtsanwalt law.
Okay. So where are these? Is it possible to access these Bundesrechtsanwalt online, or is there a particular?
Nowadays, I think it's very easy to Google those things. You can even you can abbreviate it. BRAO. 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 So just say 206 BRAO, for example, or BRAO 206. You should be able to get something similar to that, or perhaps exactly that norm. Subsection 1 of it.
Okay, I hope the lawyers are listening and they would, in their free time, go and check all these laws and see where they fall into. So, can you tell us more about your own experience as a lawyer in Germany? How has been your experience so far?
I've been practicing now for almost 2 decades. That's 20 years. That's the whole. That's a reasonable experience time. The experience is that your new things come. You update yourself legally. It exposes you to all areas of law. And at the end of the day, one is still learning. One can never finish learning actually.
And currently in Germany we have laws that are always changing. Like monthly now, there's always a new law coming up. How do you adjust to these changes as a lawyer?
Okay, I usually have a forum where those things get first-hand information. Like now, there's a law in the naturalization law that has not been passed, which makes the new government, federal government, as they promised, especially SPD, Green, and FDP, they've been able to package a more friendlier naturalization law, a modern naturalization law that has not been passed, but it has been drafted already. I already saw the content. So once it's passed, I will definitely I'm already forearmed before it comes out.
Can you give us a glimpse of what this law is talking about?
For example, now before the section 25 of the German naturalization law says that if you get as a German, if you get other nationality, without having what they call the Beibehaltungsrecht, then one forfeits the German citizenship. So it's no longer like that now. You can easily acquire another citizenship once the new law is passed, or the way it is before, that if you want to acquire the German nationality as a foreigner, then you have to give away your previous one. It's no longer like that. You just can acquire the German nationality in addition. Again, there are some areas too that is very friendly now to the Turks, because some of the Turks before, many don't want to give away their Turkish nationality, and now they can easily acquire the German citizenship without necessarily giving away the Turkish citizenship. So there's a whole lot of modifications in the. As I said, it's not a modern nationalization law. It's so modern that I think. That's the new Germany.
Okay, so we have some parents, mothers and fathers who their children are like, oh, I want to be a lawyer, and they're here in Germany, born here in Germany. What are your tips that you can give to these parents about their kids who want to be lawyers? What advice, what tips, what encouragement would you give?
First, they need to get the basic qualification to go to the university. The university differs, so some take Abitur 1 1.8, 1.9, some even take 2.1, 2.2. It depends on the university one is applying for, and they get in there, it's consistency. You don't give up. The turbulences on the way, sometimes things are not rosy the way it is from the beginning, but it just has to remain constant in what they're doing without giving up. And at the end of the tunnel, there's always a light.
Are there specific characteristics that they should have apart from?
They should stay clear. They should stay clear from crime, because that will prevent them from being sworn in as a lawyer. A lawyer actually, we still the organ, the Rechtslegal, which means we're part of the protective organ of law. So they will expect that the lawyer is crime-free and with a reputable character. And so those are the things, the ethics too, the professional ethics. So these are the things that goes and avoid bad friends. Sometimes bad friends can influence people wrongly, and you maintain your natural instinct, and at the end of the day, things will work out.
Barrister Efosa Ogieriakhi has said some bits about your ethics. For those who want to become lawyers, you have to be consistent, stay away from crime and away from bad friends. And definitely, if you're looking for a lawyer, this question is for you, Barrister. What should we be looking out for when we want to search for a lawyer?
First, a lawyer that understands the plight, so that you can freely communicate with. That Vertrauensverhältnis, that's the trust basics has to be established, has to be there. You should feel very comfortable with him as a brother or a sister, whereby you can tell your mind and they will know how to assist you and acquire your right for you.
What will be your advice to people who have different issues or cases that they are trying to sort out and maybe are unable to get a lawyer that they can trust? What would be your advice to them?
I'm there. They can always get in touch with me. So my number, I don't know, you can perhaps you blend it out for them to see. Have a constant number that is 24 hours on. But I decided to have no clients that call about 24 hours to ask how far with my case. No, that is. So, but when you have something very serious, even 24 hours, I pick my call. So there's a number I have that is always on 24/7. So and I think that is also something that my clients appreciate me for. They can knock on my door anytime, and so I open for them.
Let's talk a bit about your aspiration as a governor. So tell us, what are your aspirations for wanting to go into the governorship in Edo State?
Okay, as I told the press earlier, sometimes early this year is. I believe we in the diaspora are those that are going to repair our homeland, like in this case, Nigeria. And I believe strongly that we need to genuinely participate in the nation building process, genuinely participate in it, because nobody is going to do it for us. We need to be involved in it and be in the political field of play, and makes substantial impact, to make sure that we transform the place. You can see people, many are even aspiring to come to this part of the world. Some are even taking dangerous Mediterranean route through Spain, Libya, and all that to get to Spain through Morocco and perhaps North African area. So these are as a result of dissatisfaction or inability to make life for the less privileged in Africa, especially in this case Nigeria. So we all know that. We've learned how it functions. I went through the system that makes Germany function today. So all those weight of experience for practicing for almost 20 years, people should tap from it. they can only tap from it if I'm given the privilege to direct the direction of play, and so that's why I feel it's hard time, to be involved in the nation building. We will get it done. As I said, I'm not a political investor, so they should not be expecting me to be sharing money here and there. So it's going to be people driven. The people who put me there, then I will be answerable to the people. So that's the only way we can make it work, and we surely make it work by God's grace.
Are your clients mixed, or are they majorly Africans? And how do you relate with your clients?
The little French I know, I try to break it to a level of understanding to my French-speaking clients, like the Francophone clients I have. On the English-speaking area, as you see, I can speak English to a high level. I was even in American University. I know how English sounds. And so my German clients, of course, we speak the German context. So it's just about making them trust who you are as a lawyer. They believe. These are people that have legal confrontations, and they want it solved. So they should be relaxed. They should have a soft landing when they come to one's office and while they're talking to one's lawyer, so that at the end of the day they know that somebody has actually come to their legal rescue.
And what would you like to advise people who are listening to you today about being a lawyer in Germany, the career path in Germany? What would you like to advise them?
So it's they need to choose properly what they intend doing. If they want to be a lawyer and they want to be a German lawyer, so there is just only one way to get that done. You have to learn, you have to study law in any of the federal universities in Germany, or the government universities in Germany, and after then they have to do the practical training, which is between 2 to 2.5 years. Then after getting through with that, then they'll be called to bar, or perhaps one can be a judge directly. Because I have couple of classmates, especially one that was called to the appeal court of Dortmund after we graduated, after we left the practical training.
If they want to start their own self-stand dish like yourself?
One is called to bar, that is one is sworn in as a lawyer, one is free. So then a place, I actually started from my parlor in Bremen. I started from my parlor in Bremen because when I was called to bar, I was doing that, but at the same time I was working in the chamber. I got my office in town, that was in Langestrasse, Bremen, and opened my office there, and with one of my friends that we actually went to the university together, and then we started life. So 2012 I moved my office to Berlin. So and it's such processes in Germany are really not a difficult approach. It comes, it's very easy. It depends on how serious one is to actually face the challenge of becoming a self-employed lawyer, because some will want to be employed because of taking the risk. Sometimes it's very difficult for some people because they feel it's too hard to venture.
Yeah, and earlier you mentioned that you were focusing on business law, corporate law, and you also mentioned that a lot of Africans don't have businesses in Germany. Are you making any efforts to try to encourage people to go into businesses, or what's your idea about owning a business in Germany and assisting these businesses to grow from the legal perspective?
There's so many business that one can do. I have a couple of friends too that have basically this Apple store, selling Nigerian things and all that. To certain level, that is also actually forced to a certain level that the business law, But if you look at it, the African minority in Germany, you hardly, unlike in the US and in the UK, you hardly will see maybe one or two that has a big tech company here, So perhaps it's the system, or perhaps it's the language, but the result is that they are very minute, or perhaps there's none. But if you are self-employed, you definitely, like somebody like me, once you expect a high level of many Africans that have big time companies here, but really we don't have them. We don't have them. So they fail. We should. I don't know if you have the people take credit to start business, you venture it. So there are a whole lot of things. We are living in a free society like Germany, but I think it's still the mindset, the ability to venture. It's a free economic system.
I have a couple of clients who have been talking about opening their own businesses. They want to really start the tech companies. They want to go into logistic businesses. They want to go into different areas. They want to expand. But the challenge most of them are having that have conversed with me is they do not have the right information. And Germany is very strict with their laws. If you don't understand these laws, and you make a mistake, it's a big problem because you have a lot of tax that you must pay. So I guess one of it might be the mindset, another would be information, the legal information that is not out there. So is there any way that you as a lawyer with this based on corporate law in the German system that you can make this available for those who want to venture into these businesses that are not just the normal ones that we know about? Because most of them have said they do not have this information. They do not know what legal documents they need to get, where they need to register, what they need to have. These informations are lacking. Is there any way that you as a lawyer can make this available to them, or they have to come to you to ask you? How does it work?
We have different forms of business. You have the GmbH, that is the Gesellschaft mit beschränkter Haftung, and we have the GBL, that's the bürgerliche, the Gesellschaft bürgerliche Recht, ICA. We have different form of companies. In most cases, a company like the GmbH, so it must have a notarial structure. So there's a notar that it must be structured in a notar pattern. Let me use the English term. And the content of the business operation will now still depends on the person and the kind of business that he wants to do. In the IT, basically, I'm very confident. Definitely, there are some regulations that govern the IT system. So and the IT lawyers should be able. But it's not a big deal. One can find that one out. It's something one can find out and give a proper direction on how to start such business operations. So and Germany is a country of law. So I'm even saying that the laws are too much and making the bureaucracy a bit difficult for people to approach. But notwithstanding, anyone that is ready to venture any business, just let me know. Just give me a few time. I will find out the proper structure and the proper channel to go and acquire a start.
That sounds really nice. I want to say thank you so much for giving us your time, because I know you're a very busy person. And I also want to thank those who are listening to us and have participated, and for those who have sent in their questions. And do you have a last word to offer people, like an advice to them?
So it's to be free with themselves and be bold enough to make that bold approach, and as I said, everything is possible. We are living in a free society, and the new Germany offers opportunity for us all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And I wish you all a nice evening. If you have more questions, you can send them in and we will send it to the barrister, and I'm sure he can also do some research and get back to you. I'll also put out his number so that you can reach him if you want to communicate directly. Thank you all for watching and for being part of this career gist today. and I'll see you in the next one. Have a nice day.
So thanks
And don't
for
forget,
having me.
thank you so much. And don't forget to click on the YouTube channel because it will be presented there as well. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye for now.
Thanks. Goodbye.